Hey, rebels. All right, so let's get some energy and see what it is that we are going to be checking on and get some encouragement. Let's get some positivity. Spirit, please. Can we have some positivity? Of course, always, because even within negatives, there are positives. So let's see where we are. Have painting the roses red, covering up errors. Now, we don't want to cover up errors. We want to get ourselves to a nervous system place where our nerves are not being driven crazy by the errors that we are sweeping under the rug and not actually giving attention to. Because you know how it goes. You put something under the rug, and the more you sweep under that rug, the higher that pile is going to be. You're going to have to walk around it a little bit, step over it a little bit, step on it to get your foot or your feelings hurt. So painting the roses red, what is it that we are avoiding? What is it that the listener or their counterpart may be avoiding? I see Chester over there let's look at this. Chester is over here hiding in the roses in black and white. And of course, Alice doesn't look too happy to be painting the roses because Alice is about facing things, right? Alice has been through Wonderland so many times that she like, we still doing the same old, same old. So Alice is tired of the story cycle. Next, we have a tempting offer has a high price. What is this? See, this is how we starting off early in the morning. Okay, Poe, time for change, to learn something new, to use technology and gadgets with wisdom. And follow the white rabbit, curiosity meets opportunity. Manage to be glad, create your own happiness regardless of conditions. We are going to set this right there. Okay? It's very important. It's very important. And I get it. Things are not always that easy to give attention to, especially when it's your first time being in a pressure situation or having to make a decision for yourself or for others where you've never had to do this before. And think about it. When you were born, there was a lot of things that you never had to do. There was a lot of things that you never knew how to do. And what did you do? You learned it. And my belief is, my understanding is, the reality is that as we get older, that whole teenage mind state or even being a kid and saying, I can do it myself, you realize that, I'm sorry, I would hope that you will realize that period of time that you were a kid where you said, I can do it myself. Yes, people heard you, they listened to you, and they stepped aside and allowed you to do things yourself. And then you get older and you wonder, why is there nobody around helping me? People see that I need help, but in their heads, they're still in that space of you can do it yourself. Not only are they still in that space of you can do it yourself, they're also understanding you have grown up now. There should be a reality of understanding that yes, there is things that you're going to have to do yourself. There are anything that you want, anything that you desire, anything that you feel that you are deserving of, you need to be able to do, create, and build yourself. This does not mean accessing another person to do it for you. Yet you can ask them to teach you. You can humble yourself. You can show appreciation and value for their time. You can show what's the word? See, it was right there. You can show what is the word? There it is. You can show consideration for their time because though you're the main character of your story, does not mean that everyone else doesn't have their own bags of shit that they are trying to, dispose of. So I did not know we were gonna go here, but let's pull out a Poe card. Seeing that we have Poe right here. Okay, this is so interesting. So I am gonna use the Edgar Allan Poe deck. It may this we're gonna let spirit take us what spirit's gonna take us. But the interesting thing about it is pulling it out the box. I was trying to shake the cards out the box when realizing it has that little, the black. What is going on with my mouth today? Something. Okay, so obviously there's a bigger message here. There was that little black ribbon right there. It was like, hey, just pull me, and all the cards just popped out, right? So things may not be as hard as you think they may be. And it's so interesting because the Poe, if you know anything about Edgar Allan Poe, I would suggest that you research him a little bit just to get the feeling or of his energy. It's rather dark, obsessive love, just that's why I can't get this out so easily. Edgar Allan Poe was seeking the answers of romance and life. And oh, you think Shakespeare's a tragedy. I think he also got involved in some drugs as well. Okay, so this is The Fool. 0. There is no passion in nature as demonically. I'm trying to read under this light. I actually need to figure out this whole light situation. As demonically impatient as that of him own. There is no passion in nature so demonically impatient as that of him who, shattering upon the edge of, I can't read worth a dag this morning. All right, so we're going to pull from what we're going to pull from here. Your reader is not that great of a elementary, my dear reader. What I am getting from this is that exactly what we just said. You have to face your own situations. I'm going to Google some words now. But what I am getting from this is that you, just as what I have read thus far of this card, and though I am actually a great reader, for whatever reason this morning, my words are stagnating so much, like I feel it in the corners of my jaw, like lockjaw, like there's a tightness to the point that I am literally sitting here speaking, enunciating with my entire mouth to the point that you can see all my teeth. Okay, and it's not even cold in this room, nor is there any distraction or noise. So what is happening here is that you are obviously in a place of stagnance, and at the bottom we have the moon with delusion. Said Mr. Poe right there. For the moon never beams without being me, without bringing me dreams. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. So there is a reality that you are facing right now that you feel is an illusion. There have been dreams of yours that you have been waiting to come to fruition. And due to your own personal reading, how this resonates with you, you don't believe that this is actually happening. As I said, you're starting all over. So it seems. But really what you're doing is you're continuing on your life and you're looking for others to assist you or others to be present when this is not about others' validation, gratification, approval. This is about you taking a solo journey and just embracing yourself, knowing that you don't have it all together, but trusting that things will come together as you move along. So we have the moon with releasing, set moon. So you need to set intentions. Set intentions. Believe in yourself. Have faith. Know that you've built your discernment to a place that it is going to be reliable, that you are going to be able to rely on the truth that you come up with. Now, once again, how did we start this off in the beginning? Even negativity is positive because it allows you to learn the lessons that is needed to turn those frowns upside down. It is time to release negativity. Full moon in Scorpio. So we have release negativity again and slow it down. Take your time. You got it. And once the right over the moon face, you got it. Go for it. Okay. Avoid drama. And this avoided drama, it's not necessarily other people, because other people are going to do as they're going to do. Any interference in your time, remember the same thing, we want reciprocity. So the same thing that you would be expecting from, the same thing that someone would be expecting from you if they were to be helping you, the consideration for your time, the appreciation that you are willing for your presence. These are things that it is okay for you to expect in return. And unfortunately, sometimes the people who we care about the most don't show us that appreciation. I say that there's time for you to revisit those relationships. Moonstone. If you don't have Moonstone, I would definitely suggest get Moonstone, and add it into your collection, your support. Get the Moonstone. Just a suggestion. You don't have to take it. Okay, so we have Fire Prince, Optimism, Empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. And we have Discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Yes, you can. And yes, you will. In the due time that you are prepared. But as oftentimes as we realize is that we set a plan to do something. We want to do something. So mentally we set the plan and we work it out with our spirit internally. What do I need to repair, fix, correct, get rid of in order to be able to pursue this, whatever it may be? Because, of course, you don't want to look like a fool. But if you don't make mistakes, how will you ever learn? You're not always going to get things right the first time. Keep on pushing forward. So, as I was discussing, if you set a plan now, don't just keep it in your head. Yes, go over the blueprint in your head, in your body, within your gut for the period of time that you can allow it. But little by little, whatever parts it is that you do piece together in your brain, do that. So if it's the foundation, yes, foundation is most important. You don't start building the top of the skyscraper. Ooh, confirmation. You don't start by building the top of the skyscraper. Now you can, but the top of the skyscraper is going to be sitting there collecting dust until you get done building the foundation, till you build the structure, till you build this, till you build that. And so you have your the top of your skyscraper already done. You already know what's the end goal. You already have that flag ready to poke into the ground and say that this is mine. I made it. But you haven't done anything that reflects that before now. So now it is time to start building. Let's pull up Camel Boy. Small. Get the out of here, Louise. Small steps. Pull this. Small steps. Ask for help. I'm not joking, not fronting. Isn't it beautiful? And then we have the well-wisher. Wisdom and power of the divine. So you're not alone. As we know, you are not alone. And whale watcher. Did I say whale wisher? Yes, stop wishing. Make it happen. Because only you can make it happen, Captain. You're the captain of your boat. This person is building a whale. So though the foundation is the earth, you're still building up. Let's keep going. Yeah. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So this is, yeah, you're waiting for someone's cosign approval. Interesting thing. When I was younger, in my late teens to 20s years. Um, in my 30s, I had a reflection of my, yes, I'm telling kind of my age. In my 30s, I had a conversation with someone who knew me from my teenage years. And they were asking me, so why have you not done this? And why have you not done that? Why is it that why is it that I tend to move when other people are tired of me? Because let me explain this. I literally would not move, relocate, um, do the simplest things, even apartments, right? I felt that I had such a conditioning from my background and what I allowed my background to tell me what was, that I would not do anything without my mother telling me to. I was literally in that mindset of I can't do this, and to the person who's been watching over me all my life telling me, it's time for you to do this. You should do this. And then even then, once they told me, that same pressure was still there. That pressure of, do I know how to do this? What am I doing? Not even do I know how to do this and what am I doing? But I remember I went to go look for an apartment, um, and it was a beautiful apartment, high ceilings, great space. And when I was told that, you know what, I think we're going to look at someone else, due to it being so much space. And I guess the person who was renting out the place didn't feel that, I mean, there was something that they could see about me. Let's be honest. There was something that they could see about me that was still saying, you know what, her maturity level isn't quite here. I don't think she's going to take well enough care of our property. And when I was told that, yes, the immaturity came out to validate what they felt. I spazzed out. And my mother, literally, she didn't necessarily say anything to help me understand what was going on. It was just like, oh, well, the next one. But how, looking back at it, it would have been so great if she could have found it in herself to help me to understand, other than, okay, no, you spazzed out, um, how to revamp my character. Let me know, allowing me to see the understanding then that, you know what, some people, they don't feel that they owe you any favors. Some people feel as if, you know, fuck around and find out. And that's what I had to do. I had to fuck around and find out because my mother wasn't necessarily handy in the area of looking at someone's character to give them good guidance. My mother was more so of the type person of, you know what, I told you something. I understand you saw it as a suggestion. I understand you saw it as advice. But me telling you what I told you was me telling you to do it. And coming from that type of background where someone tells you to do something and there's no explanation, I understand it can be nerve-wracking, especially when you grow up still carrying that same mentality. I don't. This is part of the reason why I love oracles and tarot so much. This is part of the reason why I ask why to everything as well. When I was younger, I was that kid who would ask why to everything. And I grew up in an era where it was stay in a child's place. Don't ask questions. Do as you're told, not as do as you're told, not as you see me do type stuff. I'm sure I didn't say that right, but you get the gist of it. You are at a pony in place, and I'm not sure if I used that word right, but it felt fun. It actually allowed my mouth to relax a little bit. Even if I did get it wrong, it's okay. How does this resonate with you? And if you feel like it, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is it that I need to do to get from this point to that point? If I was someone on the outside who knew nothing about it, which you probably are, someone who knows nothing about it, but yet and still you're pursuing it, what questions would I ask? What equipment would I need? What type of energy do I need to be in order to see what can be learned from this situation, as well as keeping and understanding and working from the positive points? Let's move it along. Okay, so all right. So then we have strategist, counsel, project, lobby, and advise. Exactly. You gotta strategize. You got to strategize. You have to strategize. This is not just jumping straight into something head first and feeling, oh, I figured out when I get there. If you want something to be long lasting, you have to care for it. You have to nurture it. You have to remember every step and every increment that it took to put these things in place, especially if it's yours. Okay, then we have musician. Play, invoke, shine, and express. Yeah, the sound of music. The sound of music. Archer, focus, align, and surrender. Point your bow and arrow in a direction. Whatever direction this is that you are aiming for. You got this. You got this. If you are as determined, I mean, it's so ridiculous to me. People are so easily vulnerable to allowing themselves to jump into relationships that they're not even equipped for. That they just want to, let's get married, jump straight into that. But you don't get to know the person and you stay with them and you avoid looking at the red flags, avoid realizing that red flags are about you, your preference. It's not necessarily about what's toxic out there. What's toxic is anything that you feel is against you and your ability to be mobile within your own life, your ability to be able to make progress in your life. So let's not be so ignorant to say, you know what, I want to own a mansion, but you haven't looked at how much it's going to take to pay for the utilities. You haven't looked at what it's going to take how much it's going to take to furnish it. If you want to own a mansion, do you realize and understand you're going to have to be the one to pay for the repairs of that mansion? Property, everything. Like, yeah, think deep. Every little, I don't care if it's a speck of sand that it takes to complete this mansion that you may be building from the ground up. That speck of sand and the research that you do in regards to that speck of sand is just as important. And once again, we have breathe. You got it. You got it. So, Archangel Raphael, what are we saying? Is anything on? Oh, of course, it's relevant. Take several deep breaths and exhale slowly to awaken your energy to release old patterns. Old patterns of what are we speaking of? Are we speaking of old patterns of codependency? Not realizing that our old patterns are patterns of codependency because each one teach one, and we're just supposed to be, we have this idea in our head that if you care about me, you'll help. If you love me, you would. No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still fighting this cold. And actually, it kicked my butt and got a little worse last night, but got up this morning. It wasn't so bad. All right, then we have freedom. Let go. Stop it. Okay. I heard you. Hear me now. Hear me now. Last card. Liberation. Expansion. Let go of dependency that hinders your ability to live your best life. Don't limit yourself out of fear that there might not be anything better for you just because you can't see it in the moment. Honey, baby, love, I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. And okay. And then, yeah, they definitely on your butt. Spirit is on your butt saying, hey, baby, we are surrounding you. We are here for you. We're just waiting for you to move. We're waiting for you to ask yourself the right question. And so you can realize that you actually have the answer, that you are actually supplied with an open path to what it is that you even feel that you don't have yet that is necessary. Last message. Which part of your life, which part of your life is or may be going through a transition Maybe you are changing relationships, careers, or cities. Whatever it is, the crow is signaling that you are ready to make the change. Crow with transition. I don't know what more there is to say. I feel that this was a very beautiful, encouraging, inspiring morning read. And you know what? I'm about to get up and go do something with that energy. I hope it was as good for you as it was for me. And as usual, here's a little further encouragement. Go Rebels.